Right, and
A funny thing happened to me on my way to invading Earth. I am your worst nightmare. Believe that.
what's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze today?
In the House of Craze, we have another live Kickstarter special for y'all. We're going to have Mr. J.S. Earl on the show. Pistol Fist is the name of the campaign. So let's get it.
Let's do it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I am your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George, the Dreamer, Medina. What's up, Sam? What up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. We are live Kickstarter special tonight, Tuesday, December 7th. If you're with us, thank you for coming on. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, comment below, do all of that stuff. Help us grow the channel. Big shout out to all 480 subscribers. We're getting there, man. We're getting there. We're getting close to 500. But welcome everyone. What's happening, Sam? What's happening with you, brother?
What's
what you doing over there in
happening?
Texas?
Texas, the Lone Star State. I'm chilling like a villain. I never left. I feel like I'm on house arrest. This brewpreneur stuff is real. You know, my aging body can't handle running around chasing the dogs. I popped something in my ankle.
That's right. That's your ankle. I forgot about that.
We're playing hide and seek with my dogs, right? And I'm running, and I did a fake. You know, like in football, I did a fake, and I heard pop. The dogs even heard pop because they stopped. I was like, oh, and that was like my ankle. And I didn't sprain my ankle because it wasn't swollen. Something popped. And it's been this is day 4 now, and then I'm like Limp Bizkit. I'm hopping everywhere. It's horrible.
Jesus, dude.
Hey, what's up, Chris Fisk in the house?
What up, Chris? Chris Fisk is in the house. Yeah, man, Dan, that's crazy, bro. I forgot about that. I forgot that happened to you. Damn, dog.
Man,
it sucks getting old. It really does. It really does, man. Holy
my
cow.
mind's telling me go, but my body, my body's telling me.
Your body's telling you stay.
San Martino in the house.
What up? Oh snap! What up, Michael? I haven't seen anyone in a while. I missed last week's live show.
You know why?
I was stuck at the airport.
Yes, the freaks come out at night.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't do it. I was like, what the hell, man? I thought I lost my luggage. It was a mess.
Yeah, hot mess. I know. It's like
that's what happens.
on my party. George didn't come to the party. I was like, Diablo.
I missed the party, bro. And it was a long party. It was like a 2-hour party.
Yeah, we're
like,
waiting.
These kids are still partying.
I was like, he's coming.
Everybody's awake. I'm like, oh snap! You had some good conversations going. Big shout out to Daphne Lage, Michael San Martino was in the show.
It was a good chat. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good money. Good ideas for next year. Next year, there are a lot of things going to be happening next year with new properties and all of that other fun stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of that. Before we get into that, Sam, I was just talking to you off the air a little earlier today. I was online, and you know, bad news for one of the greats in this industry, Mr. George Perez. I just wanted to give a shout out to him and his family. You know, I don't know the man personally. I don't, but devastating news about his diagnosis. He unfortunately has pancreatic cancer, and
that's horrible.
They said that he's had maybe 6 months to a year to live, and I mean, this guy was great, amazing artist. You know, that character White Tiger that he created. You know, the Puerto Rican, like a Puerto Rican superhero, bro. Like he did that. That was him. Like he created that.
I remember standing there being the model for it.
Oh, okay, White Tiger. All right.
It's like he's a tiger.
He's a tiger. He's like,
no, my only experience with George Perez was at Pittsburgh Comic Con. I think it was like 07 or 08, one of those two.
Mm-hmm.
That was his first retirement because he had multiple retirement parties, and that was his last time he was going to be. He announced his retirement, and I was in small press, and they happened to have my table directly in front of the line that led up to George Perez, and there were hundreds of people with multiple books waiting to get their stuff signed by him because it was the last time he was going to do a convention, and so. You know, we didn't make any money. Me and Jonathan sat there like knuckleheads. We weren't making a dime because everyone's blocked the table, and they all had Marvel books and all his books. And but I mean, he was a master of these big epic scenes. These big. I mean, he put more characters in a single panel than anybody else in comics. I mean, it was fantastic.
Yeah, he was amazing with that kind of stuff. I mean, some of the great titles. I mean, movies today. The Avengers: Infinity War, was based on stuff that he drew in that Infinity Saga story. Wonder Woman, the things he did with Wonder Woman and bringing it back to its Greek, kind of like mythology back. Like the stuff that he did in the industry is something that helped kind of keep the industry going when things looked like they were getting stale. He kind of came in and did his thing. So
it's funny. Blocked your tape. They had me. They had. Oh man, I was trapped. It was a barricade. You couldn't even talk to anybody. No one could even see my table anyway. Get off that tangent, Sam. See, I'm having flashbacks. I'm like, who that? But I wonder what would have happened if he was one of the guys that left with the Image crew and started his own imprint.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Because he had the talent.
Yeah, he also has. I think Sirens. I think is one of the books that one of his own properties that he later on did on his own.
Yeah.
I think Boom Studio published something.
I think the only difference between him and the other ones is that his style of art was traditional Marvel, where everybody else was very dynamic and different, so they stood out.
Yeah. I mean, his artwork was it was almost like an enhanced version of like what Jack Kirby was doing. If that sounds sacrilegious, I know, but like his art was just more. His artwork was very, and we say dynamic, but it was dynamic. It was just the anatomy was correct. No offense, Rob Liefeld. But the anatomy was correct.
You're talking about my boy Rob, right?
I know.
Rob, who never draws feet.
Robbie's background.
He has chest. He has like 50 chests onto one chest. I know.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like George had some incredible stuff. But yeah. So that's sad news, and just wanted to give his family and him a shout out, Mr. George Perez.
Yeah. Much respect. Bless you all.
Much respect to the man. Yes. But yeah, so next year we're gonna have a lot of stuff going on. There's an Alien in My Toilet is coming.
You too?
Back.
You too?
It's coming back, bro.
Yes, Judy. Judy is coming back. Dude, Darius is coming back.
Darius is coming back.
What's his last name, George?
I'd love to know. I mean, it's this big secret. Sam refuses to give up the last name of Duty to Darius. We don't know. We don't know what the last name is. He knows. He says he knows, but he's not telling us. So I'm wondering if that's going to happen in any of the books that are coming out of Duty. We'll have to find out. And for that, you guys are going to have to, sign up to the launch page, which comes out next month. It is
in the guidebook to Duty's World. So when the campaign launches, there is a character book with all the characters in your universe. So his full name is in the guidebook.
Oh, so okay, so now is that the guidebook like a tier that you have to get, or is that
it's a tier? It's a tier.
There you go. So make sure you pledge to that tier. So, but also the campaign, the pre-launch, I guess
the landing page will be available next week.
Should be out next week. Okay,
yes.
So next week, make sure you go on there, click the notify me button, and then when the campaign goes live, February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. Very smart, very well done, because brothers are gonna be broke. brothers and sisters, they're gonna be broke right before that.
This is when
strategic.
This is when income taxes come in. I'm strategic. This is when everybody got cheddar. It's like cha-ching. The duty tier, yes. Mr. Dudarius. And so what's great about this? There's a trading card game. There's a guidebook to the Duties universe. There is a coloring book as a tier. So there's a lot of things, and there's a lot of educational value too. So there are trivia. There's puzzles in the comic. So every comic has 4 pages of trivia, puzzles, and interactive stuff. So it's gonna be fun. Will George be in charge of the Indiegogo game? There is no Indiegogo this time. Never again. I've put Indiegogo to bed. It's like
wait. Hold on a second. Mike, what are you saying? Are you saying that the campaign did terribly because I was in charge of the campaign? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Are those the rumors that were being put out there when I was absent from the show? Oh,
I got sabotaged.
I should have known. No, I will not be in charge of Indiegogo. I don't believe in Indiegogo. I'm sorry, Indiegogo, but that platform, bro, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work, man.
No, it doesn't work. I mean, in fact, not even so it's Indiegogo was just too difficult. Words in my mouth. It was just too difficult. A lot of the people just didn't come back, and it's just been too hard to push 2 campaigns. So everything going forward is going to be remain on Kickstarter. The only thing that'll ever change that is if, down the road with a lot of investment and dedication that there's a big audience for any of the titles, and it doesn't really matter where you go. But when you don't have that audience yet and you're building it, you have to pick and choose where you have the most success. And right now we've had the most success on Kickstarter. So I've had 3 campaigns on Indiegogo, and of the 3, only 1 was funded. So I've had not.
Wait, hold on. On Indiegogo, you said only 1 of the 3 was funded?
Yeah. So Forbidden Zero was launched on Indiegogo, successfully funded. Forbidden 1 was not funded. Forbidden 2 was not funded.
Damn.
But Forbidden 1 and 2 were funded on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
All the crazies were funded on Kickstarter.
Yeah, Kickstarter's I don't know, man. I don't know what it is about Indiegogo. I have my theories, and I think that the lack of an app is one of them. The fact that they take your money in front ahead of time, I think, is part of it. So I don't know. I think Kickstarter is the way to go.
I'm sticking with Kickstarter. If it works, don't. And I'm going to try to cultivate the audience. I'm hoping that the audience that picked up Forbidden goes over and takes look. The world needs comedy. The world needs to laugh, and Duty is exactly that. And you will definitely laugh from cover to cover. It's a funny book. He's just an amazing character. I definitely had to fight tooth and nail to get from the Indiegogo. Yeah, the Indiegogo's I didn't understand it. So a lot of things changed on this last campaign. That impacted my ability to, everything said. All indicators were there saying that this campaign was going to be more successful than it was, and it didn't happen. So we increase issue after issue, both backers and funding. And then this one, we barely made what we made on the first campaign. And so that was a big eye opener, and it was very alarming for me. But there were some things that I did that impacted that. And so, I'm taking those lessons learned and making sure I apply the good stuff to the Duty campaign.
Yeah, man. I think when you're working in that space like Indiegogo and stuff like that, or even Kickstarter, I think there's a lot of work or pre-work that has to be done. There's a lot of this, announcing that it's coming out months before it actually comes out, to get people ready, to get people excited about it, throwing little things out there. You have like the animation that the show opened up with. That's from, not that that's going to be in the campaign, but that's almost like, okay, this is where it could possibly go, like this is where you'd like it to go. So I think a lot of that has to happen, and that has to be done prior to to the campaign launching, and if it's not there, and listen, man, you're fighting these algorithms that don't let you promote this thing anywhere. Facebook is, it's like basically just holding back on anything that we post. I don't even see some of the stuff you're posting, and like we're close friends. So like the algorithms are all screwed up, and I hate to sound like I'm blaming them, but I think there's some.
No,
there's
Facebook
some
intentionally
truth to that kind of
did disrupt the flow, because when we first launched Cast the Crazies, the ads on Facebook were everywhere. We were getting hundreds and hundreds of likes and clicks, and there was a return on the investment. I think that the first campaign, the first ad I bought on Facebook, there was like $700 in pledges. Then Facebook deleted all of my preset ads. So I had all the criteria, everything I built in, and they deleted it, and they made me start all over again. And from that point on, I never got any more likes, or the conversion into sales. From that point on, every campaign from that point on, any ad that I did, it didn't translate into sales. So they definitely turned off that switch button. They said, "Oh, they're making too much money off of this. So I'm clicking it off. We're going to make them spend more money." And so that's why it's not the route for me. So I'm looking at other platforms for this campaign to see if there's a better return with the investment.
Yeah. I think that like you said, part of it is also a funny book. I think may do better.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. If you want to laugh, I think the world needs laughter. The world needs humor. The world needs duty. The
world needs some duty in Uranus. I got you.
Yes.
Hold on a second. I'm getting a
what are you
message.
doing?
Big shout out to Mark Torres. I'm actually talking to him. Your show, Sam, will finally air next Monday. It came from the radio. Yes, it came from the radio. Big shout out to Mark Torres. He has a weekly show. Airs every Monday. If you follow him on the podcast,
I'm always the last to know.
Well, you got.
I was the guest. I don't even know.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's airing next week. Hopefully you weren't promoting Forbidden.
I was promoting Disney in my toilet.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I'm
a smarty arty. Went to the party.
There you go, baby.
I think we recorded this back in January last year.
Yeah. I think it's definitely the beginning of last month. I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, no. So that's coming out as of
I
next
do.
week.
I do. Yes, campaign. I do want to say. Hold on one second. I do want to give a shout out to. What is this? Our newer subscribers to the channel. We have Griff Inc. Thank you for subscribing. And the Baron Earl's Show. Thank you for subscribing to Cast the Craze podcast. We appreciate you guys.
Nice.
They actually subscribed tonight, so thank you so much. We're getting closer.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're getting closer, man. Hopefully by the end of the year, we can close it out at 500. That would be very nice with 500 subscribers. 20 more to go. So tell your friends, tell everybody guys. If you're watching, share this out. Let them know we're out here. Subscribe to the channel and do all of that other fun stuff. We have some cool interviews coming up at the end of the year. We just finished recording one right before we came on, so that's going to be coming out on December 31st. That'll be our last show of the year, and that's Mr. Paul Hades from ASAP UK Comics.
Yeah.
ASAPcomicsuk.com. Yes, I said it all wrong.
Word.
But yeah, so that's happening. And then tonight we have J.S. Earl. We haven't even spoken about him. He's got a campaign right now on Kickstarter, and it's called Pistol Fist. Revolutionary Warrior. My man's got a metal cover.
A metal?
Can I a metal? It's metal. It's metal. Hard.
Stop
metal
meddling in my business.
Cover, bro. Like that is. I've never seen a metal cover on a graphic novel. It's a 90-page graphic novel, and it's one of the tiers on there. So I think it's
I got it on the screen.
Yeah, I think it's like $55. You get the graphic novel with the metal front cover, and you get a digital Pistol Fist graphic novel and any unlocked stretch goals, which right now he's already unlocked one Pistol Fist sticker. The reward is unlocked. We don't know what. Oh, you get a Pistol Fist button and a Pistol Fist magnet if we continue to lock some.
It's a fantastic story. It's a period piece, fantastic story. I have a lot of questions for him. It's 96-page epic. And you know, the artist, the interior artist, Andres Guinaldo, fantastic illustrator. I mean, the interior art is pretty tight. He has a really good team working on this book. The covers are freaking fantastic. I mean, look at that stuff. He's got multiple covers, bro.
Damn.
Jeez. Multiple covers. Look at that. He got a sketch cover on a graphic novel. I mean, he's breaking ground here. Hardcover edition. Look at that hardcover. That hardcover is fantastic. Look, it's just beautifully rendered. Yeah, but look at that art. Look at that art. I mean, you got Benjamin Franklin. You got it's like it's some really fantastic looking stuff.
Dope. Yeah, really, really cool stuff. I mean, the creative team has worked on, Marvel, Image, National Geographic's channel, DC, Heavy Metal. I mean, these guys have done some.
He's got the squad.
And let me tell you something. It all looks so incredible. He's got a variant cover by Mario Gully as one of the variant covers. For those who don't know who Mario Gully is, he invented the ant and published that through Image. Yeah. So he's got that, man. It looks good. It looks very exciting. 96-page epic graphic novel. So that'll be cool, man. It's what is it? It's a fusion of fact and fiction played out on historical backdrops like the Boston Massacre, the Battle of Lexington and Concord, Fort Ticonderoga. Wow.
Don't ask George to pronounce your name. He's gonna tear it up.
No, man, I'm nice. I'm nice with it.
Nice with it.
I'm nice.
He's
with
like
it,
Chico and the Man.
I'll tell you this. I'm the guy who will take the last shot, and I don't care if I miss it. You're a little more safe. You rather let me take the last shot and see if it goes in, and then you'll take your shot, which is fine.
No, I'm gonna have you go through the door first.
I'm the risk taker.
I'm gonna knock down the door and move to the side and say, "Go ahead." Then you'll take the shot. Then I'll come and I'll save you.
That's a punk.
And then we're gonna have to resuscitate you.
That's a punk move, though. You gotta go in there. You know what I'm saying? Like you talk about. Okay, so here's a.
I came through the door. I said it before. I never let the mic like the ties be no more.
You talk about being this guy who grew up in Queens and the tough street in Queens. You talk about I'm gonna bust out the door and then I move out of the way. What is that, bro? You got to come in there with me. We got to go in there together. We got to face this thing together.
The reason why I'm gonna tell you because the reason why, because I got smart over the years.
Street cred.
I get street cred. I'll take you to the neighborhood. The reason why is because every time we've been in situations in my neighborhood, there's always that squad of dudes that talk the loudest and they disappeared on us. And next you know, it's just me and one or two guys stuck with a squad.
But you're assuming that's what I'm gonna. No, that's not how I roll. I'm a team player, bro. I love sports. I love teamwork. And so I'm gonna take one for the team. I'm gonna be about the team. I'm not leaving you there like that. Come on, man, that's crazy.
I don't remember that time. Remember that time? Was it McDonald's where those two big guys bumped that old man and said, "Hey, you guys know how to fight?" Remember? Okay. And you guys like, "Yo, don't start anything." I was like, "Yo, if they bump him one more time, I'm going over there."
Don't start anything for reasons like what you just said. I'll bust open the door and then I'll move to the side. That's why we're like, don't start anything because we know how you gets down.
Those two big guys got lucky. I was gonna open up a can of whoop ass.
Hold me back. Oh snap! But no, yeah. So we have Pistol Fist. The book looks great.
It looks good. Yes.
Really, really good. 96 pages of story. And the story is interesting. I always like these period pieces. You know, where it's like fiction and it's based on reality, but there's fiction in it. So this one's starring a heroic runaway slave, Salem Addicts, and the brilliant Benjamin Franklin. So very, very interesting topic. And you said you have a lot of questions for him, so we can't wait to have him on the show.
No, I wonder what that metal cover is gonna run him. See, and I wonder how heavy that. How's that? How much weight does that?
Shipping.
Yes.
Ooh.
Are you crazy, man?
Yo,
that's you need. He's got to get more than 1,600.
Yeah.
You need a lot more than 1,600. That's pretty expensive. That's pretty expensive.
That's very expensive.
Yes. Yo tengo no chavo.
No, but yeah, that's interesting, man. I mean, listen, I've seen metal bookmarks. I've seen metal trading cards, but a metal cover I have not seen. So that really caught my eye.
He just took it. Not only that, I've seen variant covers, but not on a graphic novel. So I mean, so he's got like 7 covers that he's got to print, and then a metal cover. That's just that's balls to the wall. George, is your screen name pick a pick of Microsoft Word?
George, is your screen name a pick of? Yes. It's a bootleg version of Microsoft Word, but yes, it is.
Huh?
Why do you ask, Michael?
Is your screen name pick a pick of Microsoft Word?
Yeah. Like my avatar on my. He's asking for the screen name. The avatar on the screen name. It's a legit question. I'm wondering why he's asking it.
Yeah.
You never know with Michael. You know what I mean? You never know.
Michael rolls the border shore. Hallelujah.
Yo, by the way, big shout out to Michael Sammartino who's in the chat room. He has a book called Technogods, which is out right now. So go to his website, technogods.com. It's actually what is that? It's got an M on it. It's a long story, Mike. We'll talk about it. I'll send you a message as to why it is.
I actually shouted him out. I think on the last What's in the Box that I did. I was talking about what's his name again? What's his name?
Who?
The character.
Cliff?
Yeah, I was talking about Cliff because there was a character, there's a female character. She was pretty dope in this What's in the Box that I did last week, I think it was. And I was like, I'd rather have her on my side than Cliff.
You're talking about Seek.
Yes, Seek. Yes, the redhead. She was.
Jerry Winsborough. Tell me how that book was so good, man. Big shout out to Jerry Winsborough and his book Seek. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, check him out on Instagram. Pyramid Graphic Novels on Instagram.
Yeah, they were at the train station. It said 179th Street, Jamaica, Queens.
Yeah.
That's where I would take the train, 179th Street. Then I'd walk to 186 in Jamaica. So 179th Street was on Hillside Avenue, and then you have to walk across. Yeah.
He does a lot of that where he'll go and he'll do like photo shoots at the locations.
Yeah, I can see that because all of it, I recognize a lot of the stuff where he took the scenes from.
That's cool.
I was like, this guy's on point.
Yeah.
Like, damn,
He's
Jerry.
not playing, bro. He wasn't playing. Really good, very, very well written stuff.
Why's he got to take his art so seriously?
Yeah, dude. My man don't play. Man. He does his homework. Yeah,
so with that said, I see J.S. Earl's in the waiting room. So we're going to run to commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to bring him in. So again, we offer sponsorship opportunities. Want to promote your stuff on Catch the Craze? Then it's a 30-second spot. Here's how to do it.
Are you sitting at home wondering how you're going to spread the word about that Comic-Con that you're about to appear at? And you want to get some press? How about your first book signing? How do you spread the word so you can get an audience there? Or that first panel at a Comic-Con? Who do you talk to? Or even your first crowdfunding on Kickstarter or Indiegogo? The world is turning to podcasting to get the word out. Why not you? Sponsor an episode of Catch the Craze and start promoting yourself today.
All right, so we're going to bring in our guests right now. Boom, let's get rid of this stuff. What's up? Take that swig.
It's connecting the audio stuff.
Yeah, I see it.
There he is. What's going on, JS? How are you?
Good.
Good. Excellent. Welcome to Catch the Craze. Thank you for coming on. Happy to have you on the show. We're talking here, guys, live with JS Earl. He's got a campaign on Kickstarter right now entitled Pistol Fist. So we're going to start from the beginning, JS. We're going to let you introduce yourself to the audience. Tell us who you are and, take us all the way back to your humble beginnings as a kid growing up reading comics.
Wow. Way back. I started reading comics back probably like in second grade.
Wow.
This was in the 1900s.
Funny that is real, right?
I know. I know. Pretty much everybody's going to be feeling old, except for my son who was born in 2000. So.
Jeez, he just made it. He just made the 2000.
Nice.
My daughter was born a couple years before that, so,
she's still in the 1900s.
Yeah, she's feeling a little old now, but way back when, I didn't. It was funny. My parents didn't. They weren't like super. They weren't really anti-comics, but they weren't really super pro comics either. But I really did not like to read very much. So that's why my mom tried comics with me, and I think I probably did do okay with like when I was really little. Doing children's books or something like that. Like I think I dug those, but then when the pictures disappeared, my interest disappeared. So so then finally she tried that, and I did. It got me definitely got me into it. Got me into reading. I really loved, which is kind of it's kind of cool. I did like the old little they had little digest versions of like Kirby's Captain America and Kirby's like Fantastic Four and stuff like that, but they were like the small like paperback versions. And actually I did a homage to that with one of our with actually the cover that I drew on our Pistol Fist thing. I did an homage to one of those covers. I didn't copy it exactly, but similar kind of style. Actually, it's really weird that I noticed. I mean, I could be wrong, but especially as famous as Kirby is, I don't think they had him do the cover of the digest that I was specifically referring to. It has like a yellowy cover, I think, but it's I think I don't know. I think it was like Sal Buscema or somebody else that did it. I'm like, why would you not use a Kirby Captain America picture for the one? Because it was all the Stan Lee and Jack Kirby,
right?
Like Nazi and Red Skull tales and everything. I'm like, why would you not use a Kirby picture for that? But then just the more I was looking at it, I'm like, that doesn't really look like Kirby on the front cover.
Yes, probably maybe like rights or something, or maybe they had to pay more for it. Probably.
That might have been one of the times when they were starting to be that way about things and stuff. And so it was just me looking back now as I was looking at the stuff, and that's actually. I wouldn't say that's why I did it, but I definitely wanted to do a Kirby-inspired version of Pistol Fist because I like the Kirby stuff of like the superhero and stuff like that, but I really liked his technology stuff too. Like I really dug, which is weird because especially as young as I was, I really didn't understand 2001: A Space Odyssey at that time, but I really dug Jack Kirby's art on that series, and especially when it started getting more crazy towards the end of the series. And just all of he started bringing in all of his wild sci-fi styles, and that's when they first brought in Machine Man, who wasn't called Machine Man at that point, but that's like all that stuff, and I just loved the way that he did all that, and I'm like, man, since this deals a little bit with like, it's like historical stuff, kind of like the old school Captain America, and then also some technology stuff. I'm like, man, it would be really cool to try to mix those things. I am told, even though I have done a lot of art, I definitely do a lot more writing. I am, although I am probably not the same style, but I also did a lot of music and stuff growing up. So I kind of, when I watched one of your guys' things and I heard Sam kind of talking about that, I was like, yeah, it's like I've kind of grown up with that too, and like the music side and the recording side and performing and all that stuff, and where you have to kind of promote and everything else. And that's actually one of the reasons why I started this superhero podcast thing, where it's with another professional comic book writer buddy of mine, where we kind of created our own thing that it's kind of like a crossover. It's like the audio dramas, but we'd like do like serious serious music, serious sound effects. Got like about 50 different like actors and actresses involved and stuff. But so I was always, it's interesting because I was always big time into sports. And
where did you grow up, JS? Where did you grow up?
Okay, so I was born in Florida.
Okay.
Lived in Georgia for less than a year. Which actually I like Georgia now. I mean, it's okay. I don't know why we did so little. But then we moved to my dad taught at Wake Forest University in North Carolina for a few years. Okay. And then he get, as a lot of people that teach in college, they get all their offers, better offers, different places. So we moved to New Hampshire after that. So I spent about 4 years there. Then after that, he got hired by the, and this was great for me, especially comic wise, because even though I was kind of getting into comics back then, when I was in New Hampshire, and that's when I was going through a lot of that stuff and discovering a lot of things. And I think I really liked, I think I also liked like some of the team stuff, but I liked like Legion of Superheroes, and I liked what's it called, Justice League, but I mean I was a Marvel guy too. I mean I liked a lot of stuff. It's funny, I've said on a couple different podcasts, and I'm sure some of my teachers really hate it, but I've said that I've learned more science from comics than I ever did in school.
And vocabulary, bro. Like
and your vocabulary. Words. Oh yeah, because you and because really it is you're using those. These iconic characters or these iconic, weapons or iconic stories or whatever that play off of all those things, and it's like it's easy for you to remember. Okay, that's exactly what that word means.
Think about the way that Reed Richards would speak. He's a freaking he's a brilliant scientist. Like he's not going to use small words. He's going to use these crazy words. And you're like, oh, what does that mean? And then you learn them, and you're like, oh shoot, that's what that is. So your vocabulary really expands reading some of these books. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and it really it is. I mean, like a lot of people say, it is. It is kind of like a good gateway drug into reading, into higher reading or higher study, even like different movies and different things, and being able to expand into those ideas and everything. But so here's the really cool thing for me was that we moved to Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin area right when and I don't know how well you guys know them or anything, but it was right when Mike Barron and Steve Rude were breaking in with Nexus and Badger, which was literally like they were doing it in Madison. I mean, like I lived like an hour away from where they were like doing stuff. And so it was like, it was really cool, especially as being like a sports guy too, that it's like
the Badgers.
I'm rooting for my hometown, creators and stuff here. Like this is really super cool. And now I even do since we've stayed in touch on and off throughout the years, now I even do a podcast with Mike Barron, which has been super cool. And I've helped him with some do some different graphic design stuff for some novels and other things. But and we've almost worked together a couple times, but it just didn't. Things ended up not working out for not us, because we love picking on each other and teasing each other and stuff. That's what we call working together. I mean, it's been. But that was like super cool. And then even like in Madison, that was close to, it wasn't that far from Chicago. And around then, well, at least some of the stuff was coming out with like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff like that at that time. And so we weren't too far away from some of the things that were happening around there, and with some of the different like indie publishers and stuff. So it was like, that was like super exciting to me to actually be that close to where these things are happening and kind of seeing a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. Of course, conventions and things were nowhere near what they are now back then. But
what year are you talking about now? Late 90s, early 90s?
It's I would say early. It's mid 80s.
Mid 80s, right?
Because it was like because early, definitely early 80s. because I ended up moving back to Florida. My parents got divorced many years before that, and I stuck with my dad mainly because my sister chose my mom immediately, who was a lot nicer, and and I could see my dad's kind of like heartbreaking, and I was like, okay, I'll deal with my dad, and but I mean, there were things like that ended up being great, and actually one of the only comics my dad ever bought me, ever even tried to buy me, was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #2.
Oh wow!
And which was pretty cool, and I was like, I've heard about it. It's like I haven't even like seen it because it was like selling out everywhere that the few places that I could get to go to and stuff, and so that was cool. That was when I went to a pretty large, it's funny, small town, but because the areas in Wisconsin are really big, and then you had it's one of those things too where I don't even know if they had more than if we had more than one county represented in our school, but it was a fairly large school, and that's where I really started bouncing back and forth between doing sports and doing a lot of comic stuff. We started doing comics. I actually had a teacher there who was really into it too. So he would always bring in all these extra things for the ones of us who he knew were into that kind of stuff. And he would bring in kind of like the early. It was almost like the early version. It's before Diamond was around, so it's kind of like the early ordering versions where they kind of had the cover, they had a quick description and stuff like that. It was almost like a previews, but he would just print them out because it would just basically be on sheets of paper, and so we get to see that and see what's coming out and stuff, and cool. And it was like really cool and definitely got us like in that mode and in that way of thinking, and so we were we were just like creating tons of characters. Me and a couple of my buddies, and then and I was drawing a lot of stuff, and we did it was cool because we created these comics and stuff, and we print a couple copies. We couldn't do that many, and then but then we would pass them around like the whole school, like and the cool thing was we didn't just have like kind of the geeks and nerds, but since I was on all the sports teams, since I had all the sports teams, I had all the cool guys and the cool girls and everything reading stuff too, and so it was like it was really interesting, and I did not expect them to dig it at all, but it's kind of like since they knew I liked it. And I really didn't shove it down anybody's throat, but they kind of were getting into it too, and it was like wow, this is really cool and interesting, and what's so funny is it really, even at that time, just really when I was so busy with sports and so busy with school, not that busy with school, I was doing at least 1 or 2 comics a month. Oh, wow. And sometimes I was doing 3 comics a month. Because and obviously stories aren't that great. I mean, it's like you're in middle school. This story is just they're not there yet. You don't understand storytelling that great, and you tend to do a lot of things that remind you of other things that you don't really totally understand are reminding you of those others. Like, oh yeah, I can see how like that's that character and this character together, and that's this situation that I read, and I just kind of changed it to this, and but it was great to learn how to produce like quickly.
You were knocking out books like that a month. It was like you were working like for, you had deadlines and stuff. Like, is that how you were working?
Yeah, I mean, we tried to, because we wanted to imitate normal comics and have the date and have like the month or whatever on there. I don't even. It's funny. I think we corrected. I don't think we ever like predated. Like if it was a March book, it said March on the book. It wasn't. It wasn't like Marvel or DC. They would like date it like 3 or 4 months ahead. And you're like, what? It's like the March book just came out in November. It's like, okay. And it's like because we're like kids and we're it's like no, we're gonna do it right.
Awesome,
so yeah, so we were doing all that, and yeah, I mean, the pages weren't, our pages weren't as big as a regular one, and you know, we probably weren't. I think we averaged around 16 pages an issue, but it was tight on the ones that were like when I did 3 comics a month. But that's honestly, that was one of the reasons why which is so funny now because I'm mainly known as a writer, but that's one of the reasons why I switched to on this one that was really popular, that we did 12 issues in one school year, which is crazy. When you think about like school years, like 8 months or something like that. I mean, it was one that was like so popular, we just were like cranking it out. And that was crazy, but that was when I was not writing. I was kind of giving input, and I'd talk with the guy, but I had a buddy who like wanted to write and stuff, and I think he's a lawyer now, so, or something like that. But I actually have I have like 3 or 4 lawyer friends, which is good.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, which, you know, all jokes aside, although it's very fun to tease them, you know, it was cool because I liked giving like other people an opportunity to try to do stuff, or like and try to give some people, like if they were just starting to draw, it's like, you want to do a cover or a pinup or whatever. So I was like, you know, trying to do that stuff. But that was but it really got me in that mode of really cranking stuff out. But then I really around, I'm trying to think, it was around 84 was when we started getting a bunch of anime and manga in America. And that was like, I was like, oh, I love this stuff. And I became a huge Robotech fan. I still am to this day. I'm constantly, someday I will do a Robotech Sentinels podcast. Because there's so many people that even like love Robotech that don't know that much about like the Sentinels series, what it was supposed to be, and all the comics and everything. Right. And it's like, man, I'd love to do that and just start and put it out there, so that at least just kind of give abbreviated versions and kind of different things, and just kind of say, well, this was the plan. This is what they were. You know, this is what they were gonna do, and just kind of combine like the comics and then some of the novels and different things from that. But I got like obsessed with that, and I was trying to find a way to combine kind of because I had gotten so into doing like American style. Really, although I was not anywhere near as good as him, I was very influenced by Paul Smith on the X-Men. I really liked his style, and just how clear his characters were. Like, they're really defined. Like, all the characters weren't the same height as they are in like a lot of superhero comics and things. And there's like just a lot of stuff like that just like I just really connected with the way that he was doing things. But then I got big time into anime and manga. I actually almost and this is a couple years before the pandemic. We actually have not too far from where we were living at the time. We actually have a really actually pretty cool flea market that actually has they have some really nice like places in there. There's some cooler places that actually have, and I'm in Florida, so that actually have like AC and different things, and they're actually really nice, and they put carpets in, and they do like really nice stuff. And I almost crashed my car when I saw that there was a Gundam store going in there. And like literally, like I almost swerved off there. I was like, no way. I was like, there's a Gundam store. I was like, holy crap. Just like I was so excited. And so I loved that stuff. I really got into that in high school, was cranking out a bunch of stuff. We were actually getting a little bit of interest like locally. A buddy of mine who is also a professional comic book guy now, Dwight L. McPherson, who's done Edgar Allan Poe and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, he was on our show back in early 2000s.
Yeah, and he did stuff with Earl. 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 And he did stu with with a few different places, but he did IDW, a little bit at Image, a little bit with DC actually, because back in the day they had they had like a webtoons thing that they were connected with. It was a web comic thing that they gave. It was cool. Like if you won like the month or whatever, and you got like a deal, then they would pay you like almost as well as at that time that they were paying their writers and artists, which was pretty cool for people doing web comics, especially. So anyways, but he and I, we went to the same high school together, which was a very small Christian high school. And we had like, I think, a graduating class of like 16 people or something. And this is coming from the last school I was at had 300 people. So it was a very big difference. But but we had, and it's crazy. Like our and I don't, it's interesting. We had like in our group, even though we had such a small group, and half of them female, we had several guys who have gone on to do like professional, like art stuff. Like one of our buddies was like a main designer for Nike for many years. And then there's another guy who I actually got in a fight with because he was picking on somebody else, and we got in a big time fight on a what do you call it, field trip. Anyways, it was it was, but then there's like another guy too who also did stuff. Oh, I know, and one of my other buddies who it's not that big of a deal or whatever, but he was like a main like art guy and kind of like designer and graphic design guy for like Bic pens and stuff for a while. And it was interesting that we were all actually being able to, from such a small group, being able to do like arts and stuff like that. But we were all I was getting them together to make kind of our own little like sci-fi universe, a little bit like, it was kind of like a cross between Robotech and Star Trek in a way. There were different things that I wanted to play, especially because at that time, that was around the time when Star Trek had, of course, now they finally have doing it again, where they had like 3 different series going at the same time. Mm-hmm. So we were doing like a little bit of that, and we had like all of this continuity going on at the same time, of where we had this one ship that's in space, and then they had people that they had dropped off on this one planet where they found like it was a good place for us to like terraform and stuff like that. But then they were going on to like look for some other things. So then we had a comic about that group that was on that planet, and then we also had back on Earth what was happening, and then we had another group that was going a totally different direction because it was basically overpopulation. Everybody was running out of food and water and stuff like that. But it was and then we were going to find out that that there's basically like this kind of like this evil alien race, like that was like just really, really massive. Like it was like they discovered them in like both opposite directions that we went. Like they were just like and then because of the signals we were sending back to Earth, they were tracking it back to Earth, and they were going to go and wipe out Earth and everything. So we had this big whole like master plan, and we were doing all this stuff. And then we finally ended up combining it all into one comic, which actually sold really well at some local stores. It actually it did okay. It's funny. I've heard some people say it did well. I don't. There's a couple stores where it did really well, and it like outsold Spider-Man and some different things. But that was when Spider-Man wasn't selling the greatest and some other. So I mean, it's kind of like you throw the names out there, but it's like this is one of the worst sales times for like Spider-Man, one of the worst sales times for like Superman and stuff like that. But it still makes you feel good. It makes you feel like, wow, at least we can compete. And so. It was also, though, Diamond Distribution started out of Jeppy's Comic World in Clearwater, Florida, and that was one of the places where we had our stuff too, which was just crazy to think about now. But it was actually like out of the back of like that store was where like Diamond Distribution started. And then it ended up growing into this whole big thing. So it's been cool seeing all these different things as we've gone through stuff. But we actually, Dwight and I both, me more so than Dwight, we both got really turned off by the comics industry, because when we were starting to get things going and we were starting to get some like newspapers and all kinds of things starting to kind of follow us a little bit, and we were kind of getting our name out there, we started submitting a bunch of stuff, though we, not being very confident, we're definitely trying a lot of small publishers, like probably about the smallest comic publishers that we knew. Most of them, they only had like one comic out or whatever. And we had, I think Dwight had one idea stolen and I had like 3. And we were kind of like, okay, comic industry sucks. Like we don't want to be a part of the comic industry. And so we both kind of went like different directions. And I think I started focusing more on writing, and I mean, I still kind of wanted to draw some stuff, and I was making friends with some people that had been some big pros at Marvel and different things, but I was like, it just left such a bad taste in our mouth that we were just like, man, it's like, hey, this really sucks. And I think, and then finally it was funny because it was like several years, like 5 or 10 years later, finally, Dwight and I both started getting the bug again. And that's when we started working on things and networking a lot and kind of doing a bunch of different stuff. And I was kind of helping him, I think, hook up with some different artists. And then once he was starting to do some things, I was when, and he had some different publishers he was working with that were like, hey, do you know anybody else that has good ideas and stuff like that? So he was like, yeah, he's like, you got to talk to my buddy Jeff. Well, everybody people who really know me call me Jeff. I don't care. I've just gone by JS because I went by Jeff when I was in a band. So I just wanted to distinguish myself as like a writer. And a lot of the writers that I really liked at that time, because I liked, I grew up liking like J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis and a bunch of different people that had all these initials. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to try to rebrand myself as a writer, then I'll start doing that. And because I just realized, I was like, man, I have too many ideas, and artists can only do like 1 book a month. I was like, legitimately at a professional level. It's like, there's no way I will ever be able to, do whatever. And I know that I, like a lot of people, creative people, get distracted very easily and get new ideas, and we forget about the other children that we already had, because the new ones make us really excited. and it's like, no, the other kids matter too. It's like, and sometimes those ones that have been marinating quite a bit more end up working out better, when you come back to them, especially as you've been kind of going over it in your brain years later. And but that was when he had those publishers saying that, and then that's when I had some publishers asking to submit stuff, and I submitted like 10 different ideas to 3 different publishers, and then it was actually 15 different things. It was basically like it was like a rough title and and like a 1-sentence synopsis, because that's pretty much what they were wanting, just as kind of like a get to know you, introduction.
They always ask, like, I think all of them have like different things that they may ask for. But real question, Jeff, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I definitely want to talk about your Kickstarter. We're running a little bit out of time.
I told you I'm old, so.
I actually have a question here from one of our listeners, Anibal Arroyo. Big shout out to Anibal. He's saying, hey, let's hear about that dope metal cover. So you have a metal cover on your campaign, it looks like. So tell us a little bit about the idea behind putting a metal cover on the book, and is that costly? Like, tell us a little bit about the thought process behind it.
It's not too costly. It's one of those things that is, especially in the Kickstarter and Indiegogo realms, it started to get to be kind of like a hot little collectible thing. Like, if you do that, I know some people are doing metal cards, some people are doing metal covers. It's gotten a lot more affordable, and a lot and they've gotten a lot better at like printing on metal, especially for comic covers, because you have like comic publishers and people who specifically focus on those things. I say publishers, printers, and they have gotten really good at making it like a lot of us have seen, you know, different images and stuff put on metal and everything. It's like, but like now it's a lot, they're a lot better. They're a lot clearer. They look, they look fantastic. And I haven't had one actually made yet. I mean, I've seen them, and I've seen from the printers that I have like 3 different ones I'm still deciding behind. I'm leaning towards one. I think they're called, what are they called? Like Angel something printing or something like that. But they Angel Metal, something like that. But they but they do a great job. And just the fact that he had kind of the metal thing on his arm and everything, I was like, I think that would look really cool. And I'd like to do like, I'm trying to listen to people, and then and also trying to do stuff that like I'd like to see, like if I like I did with the Kirby inspired like variant cover, like I would like that. So like I want to do that. But I also have been like listening to people and seeing what they want. That's why we're even offering a because I was surprised. It was just I have a friend who does like pop culture, like different kind of, but she does like different knitted things, and she'll you know, hats or Cthulhu dolls or whatever. But like she does a really good job, and whether it's supposed to be serious or cute or whatever, it's like she does a really fantastic job doing these knitted pop culture things. So that's why I was like, would you want to do like a Pistol Fist mask? Because we get a lot of compliments about the mask in it.
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
And I was like, you know, we'll kind of maybe push. I was mainly asking a lot of like the northern like readers and fans that I know. It's like, you know, it's like I don't know how good. I know some people have said, yeah, it'd be cool to dress up like that for, you know, a cosplay thing or whatever. But I was like, even if it's just warm, and it would be fun to see somebody rob someplace wearing a Pistol Fist mask. So you know.
So walk us through Pistol Fist. What sparked the idea, and what can people expect from the story?
It is it's like what they call historic fiction. It is in a lot of ways it's very much based on a lot of real history. It's kind of I like the term heightened, because we take different aspects and then we kind of amp them up, but we don't necessarily like pervert what actually happened or try to say
alter history.
To really alter it. I mean, if we have like a cool idea or different things, then and it really works like story wise and stuff like that, like if it really serves the story and different things like that would be really cool. And I've definitely been open to that. I even threw out at one point, I was like, yeah, it's like, man, it's like because there were some publishers that were like, it's like, well, we'd be interested in doing it as an ongoing series, but we'd rather it be more alternate history. And I was like, well, how about if we killed George Washington in the first issue? And it's like, because that would be a major shift of what happened and what like helped inspire stuff, and there's just a bunch of different stuff like that. But yeah, we deal with a lot of real characters in it, especially Ben Franklin and people surrounding Ben Franklin. I mainly wanted to use him because of creating the device thing, or basically designing it. He's not actually the one who builds it, because he has his design journal stolen, and by a buddy of his who in reality was a double agent for the colonies and for Britain. He kind of was working both sides, and his son was also for Britain throughout the whole thing, and basically caused a rift that like ruined their relationship for their whole lives. And especially because Britain really tried to manipulate his son. So there was some stuff like that I really wanted to deal with in those issues with those, because a lot of it deals with family, because the main character, Salem, is an imaginary runaway slave, although he is based on and really inspired by several different real African Americans, runaway slaves, and people that fought in the war. Actually, two of the most famous being Peter Salem and Salem Poor, which is one reason why I named him Salem. because of that common name. But also, the first person to die in the Boston Massacre was Crispus Attucks, who was a runaway slave and was actually still wanted at the time when he chose to side with the colonists and stand up to the British, which I thought is a fascinating side that he would choose. Based on the fact of that at that time, most of the slaves were leaning towards the British because it was the colonists that were enslaving them. So I was like, that's a lot more interesting to me. It would be interesting to kind of go down that rabbit hole. And it also that was a big thing that really helped kick off the Revolutionary War, was the shooting and killing there that happened with the Boston Massacre and did inspire people. They even would go and they would meet at the graves and stuff like that. A lot of the people that and they would pray to them or like say, we're gonna stand up in your memory or your honor, or what, like these huge groups of people of Bostonians. And so it was a really pivotal event. So my thing is with Salem is he basically he's not as mature as his older brother that was killed is, and he basically wants revenge for his brother being killed, and that's all he really cares about, is killing the redcoats that killed his brother. And then that's actually, his brother worked on the docks, and he worked on did stuff with ships and unloading and loading and just all kinds of different stuff, dealing with like ships going in and out. So actually what I had is when he gets shot, and he does get shot twice in reality, which John Adams said was an accident, and that's impossible. For anybody that knows how long it took to reload those guns back then, there's no way you shoot somebody twice with the same gun. I mean, I don't know. I don't even think rifles. I think you had to reload like that back then. But it was like,
it's funny, Jeff, because like your history and your like social studies teachers would be so proud of you right now.
Oh yeah,
with all of this history that you're putting into this book. You know what I mean? All the stuff that you have put into this book. But real quick before, just to remind everyone, we're talking to J.S. Earls, and he's got a campaign right now on Kickstarter called Pistol Fist Freedom Fighter. So make sure you go on here and you pledge to the campaign. You've already made your goal. You have 37 backers, 11 days to go. We are running out of time, J.S. So give us that elevator pitch. Tell us why they should pick up your book today.
I would say that we have incredible cast of people that worked on it. Honestly, we had great artists and writers. The main artist has gone on to do like Justice League Dark. He's been on the Blade Runner comic for a few years now. That's like really good. Just really fantastic. We really poured a lot of stuff into it. A lot of thought into the whole thing. We also, as you said about the history, for anybody that is interested in that, or wants to even, maybe you're not interested, but you'd be, because you're not that interested in history, but somebody who is, we actually do put in the back, we have a lot of what we call fact and fiction pages. There's a sample on there. We're going to, that one's like 15 years old, so we're gonna make it look a lot newer and everything. But there's a good sample on there of what we do and what we cover, because we did want to, even though we want to entertain, we also did want to be clear about, okay, this is real and this is not. And then we also touch on things that are even weirder than what we have in the book, just because it just adds an extra element. I think people that like history and like excitement and it's very much, in a lot of ways, it's like a really good kind of epic movie, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite cover is by OMG. I actually supported your campaign. I got his cover.
Oh, cool.
I did have the pleasure of reading the sample that I was sent, but I wanted to own the copy because I thought the production value is amazing. The artwork is top notch, and that cover, I just had to have it on my bookshelf. Yeah. So, fantastic job. You worked with a lot of talented creators on this. Obviously, you're doing really well. You got 11 days to go. You have 37 backers right now. Guys, the link is in the summary. Check it out. Pistol Fist. Again, congratulations on being funded, and let's see where this goes.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, JS, for being on the show.
Thanks for having me on.
You were amazing, dude. There's so much more to unpack with this story. We definitely would like to have you back, talk more about the story and stuff like that. But thank you so much for coming on, and everybody watching, make sure you pledge. Thank you, JS. Appreciate you, man.
Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yes, that
Pistol
was
Fist.
Yeah, that was Pistol Fist. Let me get this up my face. I always have those things on my face.
I also like that that other cover he's got by let me see which one it is. This one right here by Stefano Cardoselli.
Hold on,
I like that one with the splash.
I'll pull it up right now. Stefan.
Yeah, it looks good, man. It looks really, really good.
Which cover? OMG, Richard. Oh yeah, the one with the splashing water. Yeah, but you know what? Something about the one above on the left hand side up side by Joel Robinson. That's the one I got.
The OMG one is the one on the right.
Yeah. Which one I got? Which one did I get?
It's cover A is the Joel Robinson one.
Oh yeah. That was my favorite. I gotta change my pledge.
Oh damn.
I want that cover.
The good thing is they're both $20.
Yeah. We're gonna change it to that one.
For those watching, make sure you pledge.
Antonio in the house.
Yeah, I actually got to run over to the Nerds of the Round going live in a few minutes. I don't know if they're already on there, but what up? Look, see,
look at that. It's like, am I my brother's keeper?
Tone's like, yo, what's up? You coming or what, bro? But yeah, no, awesome book. Make sure you check out Pistol Fist over on Kickstarter. Show that man some love. He's already been funded, so that thing is ready to rock and roll. He's at 1702. So
check it out. Again, this was another live episode of Catch the Craze podcast. Thank you everybody for joining us in the chat. Michael San Martino, what's up? Anthony Cristal, what's up? Thank you for joining, and don't forget. Let me get this out of the way. Don't forget that. Where is that? Is it this? No, that's not it. Duty. Where is it thrown? There it is. Bang! Don't forget, there's an Alien in My Toilet is launching on Kickstarter February 15th. Landing page will be live next week. And for the Forbidden campaign, everything was sent out to the printers, just waiting to get it all back. And as soon as I get it, I'm shipping it out. So hopefully you'll get it before the date that I put in February. And most likely you'll be getting it in January, early January. So again, that was another good episode. Thank you guys for all joining us tonight. And for the new subscribers on the channel, again, thank you guys for subscribing. And hit that like button if you like this episode. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, help us get monetized. Thank you, Grant Lanker. Thank you, Marco San Martino. Thank you, Chris Fisk. Thank you, Anthony Cristal, Anibal Arroyos Capollo, and I'm my brother's watcher, Antonio Perez, for jumping in and stalking George. And with that said, this is another great episode. Join us. I think, are we live tomorrow or no?
Tomorrow, yeah. We got another live show.
We got a live show tomorrow. So join us tomorrow night, live, 8 o'clock. We'll be here. I'm Sam, the Crazy Man Vera.
George, the Dreamer Medina.
And we are out. It's just easy. It's not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him Say my name, right? This is what you were thinking? Oh, my. He described me. He said, I'm the...
What? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.